and they should be yours as well. Whether it's tailgating, a wedding celebration, or a simple Wednesday night meal that you don't have to prepare, Chef James builds the platform for an incredible dining experience. And with a wide variety of styles and influences, you can be sure Chef will have the perfect menu ready for whatever your needs are. Oh, and by the way, fellas, looking for a romantic date night idea? Chef James offers private chef services as well. Think about it, just you, your significant other, and a beautifully prepared meal all in the comfort of your own home. Check out Harris Made Chef Services now on Facebook at Harris-Made, or give Chef a call at 609-816-5629 to discuss your culinary needs. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another live fan reaction show presented by Harris Made Chef Services. I appreciate everybody for joining me tonight. I am lounging it up at the house tonight, so appreciate everybody hanging with me. Sorry for the long intro there. I was trying to get this shared out to everybody, so give me a minute as I play around here with that and try to get this all shared out. But jump in the comments, man. Let's get this thing started. You guys let me know what you thought about the game, how you guys felt of how Arkansas came out of the game. I know early on in the first half, if you've listened to the podcast yet, High on the Hogs, HAWGS. If you're not, please jump over and make sure you like, share, and subscribe on that podcast. You can watch, or you can listen to that anywhere you find your podcast. So make sure you guys jump over there and on wherever you get your podcast and like that, subscribe to it, and download it. And don't miss it. Now we have two really good podcasts every week, so appreciate everybody that listens. Our numbers have been extremely good now that the Razorbacks are good, so I like to think maybe it's some of our content, who knows. But of course, today's pod that dropped was Andy and I, and then on Friday Tyler and I will bring you a preview of this week's Florida game. So you guys just make sure you chill and get over there and listen to that in your free time or on your way to work or whatever you're doing. And let me switch this. Stop playing that. All right. So I'm looking for one more thing here. Let's see if I can find. Let's see. Here we go. This should get me what I want. All right. So let's jump into this thing. I wanted to go off of some of the PFF grades versus Tennessee for the offense. It was a game it was kind of a tale of two halves in this game when you looked at the first half and how Arkansas came out. I was very frustrated. I think a lot of people were extremely frustrated with the way that things went in the first half. And I know in our group chat, one of the big things that was said was, these guys are getting bullied, and they were. That first half, they really did. They got bullied up. They got pushed around. This Tennessee's the worst team in the conference on third down, and they really just did whatever they wanted to do. So that was that was quite frustrating in the first half. But then, last week, my concern after the A&M game was the lack of adjustments at the half. And I thought that this team did a fantastic job with their adjustments in the second half, or at halftime, when we got to see what Arkansas, as Arkansas came out and got a little more physical. I think they kind of woke up a little bit in the second half. But some of these PFF grades, overall, the offense gets a 71.7, or overall team gets a 71.7. Offense got a 64.2, passing a 67.6. The rushing game, which we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes, it looks like we've finally started to see that rushing resurgence. They rushed. They got a 71 grade. Receiving was a 61. Pass blocking rated out at a 66. Run blocking at a 52. And that's something that we've been saying all year is, this offensive line's just got to get a little stronger, get away. We've got to get away from some of the misdirection at times, and I think this team's just got to run downhill. Third time this season that Arkansas posted an overall grade above 70. All three games that the Hogs have won have been 70-plus overall grades. I want to give a thanks to Andrew Hutchinson with Hogbeat for compiling this stuff from PFF. PFF is a great tool if you really want to dig into some of the things going on. Whether it's the Razorbacks, your favorite pro team, or another college team. After posting just one passing grade higher than 61 over their last 7 games last season, sorry about that. The Razorbacks have posted at least 64 passing grade in all 6 games this season. And for the second straight week, Arkansas eclipsed the 70 grade in rushing. And like I said, we're starting to see that little bit of a rushing resurgence. We're starting to see that Sam Pittman stamp on this team. And so that's been pretty exciting to watch. According to Pro Football Focus, Arkansas's offensive line allowed just 5 pressures against Tennessee. That's impressive. Right tackle Dalton Wagner, starting in place of Noah Gatlin, was charged with 3 of them. So obviously we need to get Gatlin back in the game. He was out in concussion protocol. He also gave up a sack, 1 quarterback hit, and 1 hurry. The other 2 charged were to right guard Bo Limmer, a hurry, and then left tackle Myron Cunningham gave a quarterback hit. And then the only other pressure allowed by the Razorbacks was charged to tight end Blake Kern, who gave up a sack. 4 Hogs played all 71 offensive snaps: Wagner, Cunningham, Ricky Stromberg, and quarterback Felipe Franks. And so, Arkansas's been making some moves. The 2 guard spots, they rotated a couple players between Brady Latham and Ty Clary. And then Luke Jones played a little bit at left guard while Limmer played there as well. So, we've started seeing Arkansas trying to figure out exactly what that best offensive set is, and what we did in the second half was really pretty interesting. Another great performance for Treylon Burks. He scores out at a 76. He's got an 82.8 overall season grade. That's 15th out of 248 FBS receivers who've been targeted at least 20 times. Only 3 SEC receivers have a higher mark. Alabama's Devontae Smith, Ole Miss's Elijah Moore, and Alabama's Jalen Waddle. And, Devontae Smith just kind of runs away with it at a 92.5. Nearly 3/4 of Boyd's 65 rushing yards came after contact, compared to less than half of Smith's 72 yards coming after contact. And I want to touch on that for a second because I think, Will has jumped in the comments already. It's fantastic knowing we have a staff that can make adjustments. I 100% agree. But Will's made the point throughout the season so far that, that this team needs to run more downhill, would like to see more, would like to see a little more pistol formation. And obviously I think some of the frustration has been Boyd has just been too slow to the hole. And that shows that right there, where 65 rushing yards came after contact, and whereas less than half of Smith's 72 yards are coming after contact, which means that he's getting a lot of yards before he's being contacted. So, we'd like to see that from Boyd, but Boyd's got to be able to hit the hole a little quicker. By completing 2 of 3 passes thrown at least 20 yards downfield through the air against Tennessee, Franks is now 9 of 17 on those kind of passes. And it's worth also noting that Pro Football Focus credited Franks with 4 throwaways, which matches his season high previously set against Georgia. And that's important because of this. We've complained all year, and I was screaming at my TV on Saturday as well about the fact that that Franks was seemingly holding on to the ball too long. So, frustrating, yes. Let me jump into the numbers a little bit here, but those numbers are important because it does tell a story of a of a guy in Felipe Franks who's trying to get the ball out, not hold on to it, and take unnecessary hits, and that's important. Arkansas doesn't have a lot of depth that we know we can trust at quarterback, so you can't lose a guy like Franks. Franks ends the game 18 of 24, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns, a 77 QBR. Tennessee, really, really bad. Jared Garantano, 5 of 8, 42 yards before getting hurt. Brian Morrow, who was supposed to be a running quarterback, did nothing of the sort. 2 carries for 3 yards. He was 0 for 4 passing. And then the freshman, Harrison Bailey, 6 of 9, and almost all of those were in the little junk passes over the middle that Arkansas was giving him. Threw 2 interceptions there late, one that Eric Gregory caught, and then one that Jalen Catalon off the Hudson Clark tip. So Eric Gray for Tennessee was their leading rusher, 31 carries, 123 yards, and a touchdown. Traylon Smith, once again, Arkansas's leading carrier, 9 carries, 72 yards. You guys make sure you pay attention to Natural State Sports this week. We've got some fun questions, and one of them is regarding this situation between Traylon Smith and Rakeem Boyd. If you're watching, if you're listening right now, throw it in the comments. Who do you like, Traylon or Rakeem? Who do you think should be starting for this team? I'll give my opinion in a minute. And looking at the numbers, 9 carries, 72 yards, a 4-yard per carry average difference, 8 yards per carry for Traylon, 3.4 yards per carry for Rakeem Boyd. And so love to see what y'all's comments are on that. And then, of course, receiving, Traylon Burks, 5 catches, 95 yards and a touchdown. Mike Woods, 3 catches, 64 yards and a touchdown. And then Blake Kern, with the injury to Hudson Henry, came out and looked really good at 3 catches, 40 yards, 2 big ones, the 24-yarder, and then the touchdown pass there late. So, really like what Arkansas's done with their limited tight end situation. So that's been a lot of fun to get to watch as well. So really enjoyed that. Let me jump over here into the comments. My comments aren't working, but Stanley Jones says, I'm just wondering who could our backup be after Franks? KJ didn't do anything when he came in to replace Franks. So KJ is the 2 on the depth chart. But I don't think that's exactly how it would work out, personally. I think you would have packages for both guys. I don't know how much they trust KJ's arm, and his physicality is more than what a guy like Malik Hornsby would bring to the table. So to me, I think your guy would probably be KJ, an extra year in the system. The offense, I think, would look completely different. I think Malik Hornsby, and obviously they recruited him for this reason, but I think Malik Hornsby fits exactly what Briles wants to do offensively. He's a very athletic quarterback, very strong arm quarterback. And if you look at how Arkansas has been recruiting, we had the opportunity Friday night to watch Landon Rogers in action live. We called his game against Mountain Home on Friday, and that kid is absolutely incredible. I've had the opportunity to talk to Lucas Coley. Lucas Coley, when we had him on the podcast, dude's just a leader. He loves Arkansas. He loves the situation he's coming into, and so really excited about that guy as well. And they all fit that mold. So I think Hornsby is a guy that they really want to get in there, but obviously you don't want to ruin a freshman's confidence by putting him out there too early. You can see how frustrated he was not being able to get the corner in that one, the strange goal line series. So, but I do. Long answer to the question is, I think KJ is your guy. And I think to answer the second part of your comment there, KJ didn't do anything when he came in. So I think, he was limited. They weren't going to throw him out there and make him try to do a whole lot. So I don't know that we can take anything away from that. So unfortunately, we haven't seen any more than that. Let's see, go up here. Will says, I don't care who starts. I just want Smith with more of an overall role. He's electric. I agree. 8 yards a carry. He needs more than 9 touches. That's, and they'll make that happen. I think they want to get Rakeem Boyd going, but I think it's also one of those things where you can't be too stubborn with it. Boyd's got to figure it out. He's got to get to the open holes, or he's not going to have an opportunity. Michael Stubbs says, no complaints here. Hogs fight all 4 quarters. We look good. Should be 4-2. Everything will only go from here. The Hogs are 4-2. Not going to argue with you. The only thing that I'll say, and like I said, my only big complaint was how we kind of got bullied early, and I didn't understand the early game plan. Like I didn't. You've got a Tennessee team that is horrible in the secondary, absolutely horrible. And I didn't feel like Arkansas took any chances. I didn't think, especially early. I didn't think, obviously we had the 2 big touchdown passes in the second half, but I didn't think that, I thought that, one, we didn't try to take any chances. I thought we tried to get too cute instead of just trying to push the ball down the field on that team. That's not a great Tennessee defense. Arkansas had a lot of opportunities to really handle business there in the first half, and they didn't do it. I would have been okay with the defense trying to feel their way through. I mean, Eric Gray's a really good running back. You're not going to hold him down, and so I'd have been okay with Arkansas feeling their way through defensively in the first half. The offense should have done more, and what we saw in the second half is what we should have seen the entire game. Terry Paxton says, I like Treylon. He played with a purpose on Saturday, and he did. I mean, he's a different guy. I mean, you can see, I think it's a tale of two stories with transfers sometimes, and you see a guy like Rakeem who came in with a lot of hype, out of his JUCO time, but he's never really done a whole lot. He was okay in JUCO, but all in all, I mean, he's been very injury prone. He just doesn't, and he doesn't seem to fit what Briles is going to want to do. And I really don't know what the reason for that is right now. Like, I don't know why we're struggling with that, other than lack of strength on the offensive line. So we'll see how that goes. But let me jump into this real quick. Let's go ahead and get to this video by War Machine, if I can find the right button here. That is not the right button. Oh man. Nope, still not the right button. We'll get there eventually, I promise. And there we go. All right, so let's get into this video, and this is thanks to War Machine on YouTube. We'll get into some of these highlights here and let you guys kind of get an idea and a feel of what we saw. So I'm not going to do the sound up real high, but of course, not a whole lot of highlights for Arkansas in the first half. Tennessee, was kind of the difference in the first half. Looking at this, let's jump here. And so this was the start for Tennessee. Arkansas seemed to try to play.
Decision-making is paramount for Garantano. Arkansas has been great against the pass, but they get down the ball enough. Quick hitter to the outside. Trying to set up the screen, and Arkansas blows it up. It's a freshman, Cadlock, who does senior from Nashville, has been sensational in his career. He's got the leg, and he's able to split the uprights, and Tennessee scores on its opening possession. We got a bunch of guys that they'd love to spread the offense to. Here it is, Warren, around the edge on the reverse, and he's got a blocker. Henry paves the way, and Devion Warren takes it all the way past the 45. See with the young receiver, Jalen Hyatt on the outside. Three-man rush. Garantano trying to run for it. He's got a bend, and he picks up the first down with the legs. And Garantano stays in bounds. Jumbo's in there. Garantano turns, hands it off Gray. He will walk right in. Touchdown, Tennessee on an Eric Gray 1-yard run. In the back of his right knee, he just ripped his helmet off. I don't think he's coming back in this game. Frank's looking for the slant. Double clutch. Found his man. Arkansas first down. Blake Kern. That's Henry's replacement. Ball came out late, but they say Kern was down. Essentially an extra point. He's made 73 consecutive of those. And this one goes wide right. Tom, you can't say that. Tennessee 4-5 on third down tonight. Poole shows blitz. Here they come. They hit Garantano, and he fires wide. He was a key runner against A&M in the last game for Arkansas. He'll hand it off here, and there's a huge hole to the outside. Treylon Smith past the 40 before being shoved out. They'll run it again and throw it down at the line of Northwest Arkansas. Garantano. A foot down and a completion. Fantastic. This is a 3rd and 3 for Tennessee. Garantano going deep. Got a man with a step. And it is incomplete. And he may have underthrown his 48-yard attempt for Samaglia. A line drive gets over the crossbar and through. Second one for Samaglia. Nobody celebrates like this dude. He's quickly becoming the first half of the leg injury. Warren will motion into the backfield and then leave, and they'll swing it out to him from behind the line of scrimmage. Full head of steam. Here's Devion Warren, and he gets hog-tied at the 45. They're going to let him throw on first down, and Arkansas gets to him. Hudson Henry, the tight end, in motion. in action here in the second half. He grabs the ball on the swing from Franks, and he takes it for a first down. I live vicariously through others. Third down. Franks again to the slant, and another first down for Traylon Burks.
And I just dialed up. At some point, you're sucking wind.
Franks pulls it back. He delivers it. They got room. It's the tight end, Blake Kern, who takes it inside the 5. Second and short. Franks to the slant again. Touchdown, Arkansas, Mike Woods. That was smooth. It was like Arkansas fan Bobby Bones on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, it's just a slant route here on Kenneth George on the outside, who's playing in place of Alontae Taylor, their starting cornerback for Tennessee, who's out next week. But again, they're going to be an underdog in that game. And A&M's playing better than LSU right now.
First down run finds nothing for Tennessee. In fact, Garantano's only thrown it 8 times in this game. He's 5 for 8. And he's going to try and scramble. Goes airborne at the 30. One moment. Second and 5. Franks holds. Fires down the sideline. Receiver went out of bounds. Came back in. Flag thrown on the play. He's going to take it down the sideline. And out of bounds at the 3. It's Mike Woods now. Touchdown. They say never stepped out. Here's the question. The flag went down, and the official blocked.
The player stepped out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Please reset the game.
Here's Boyd. Nope, Franks throws it. Kern, touchdown! Play action to the big tight end, and it's the first for the 5th-year senior out of Lamar, Arkansas.
Well, that's just a great job by Kendall Briles. You notice they got to the line of scrimmage. They gave Tennessee a look. Tennessee stacked the line of scrimmage, stacked the box. You're going to see Kern here. Gives the look like they're going downhill right there. Like he's going to insert right on the linebacker. Steps right by him. Hard play action.
Give to the running back. Nowhere to go for Eric Gray. Jonathan Marshall, who Barry Odom called the... Franks hands it off. Huge hole. Traylon Smith. And he takes it past the 40. Tennessee little light on the... Right now it's Simmons right on top of Stromberg. Franks pulls it back. Surveys. Has plenty of time. Now he unloads. Got a man. Caught. Arkansas. Simmons right on top of Stromberg. Franks pulls it back. Surveys. Has plenty of time. Now he unloads. Got a man. Caught. Arkansas first down. Arkansas touchdown. Traylon Burks covers 59 yards with a dance at the end. Pink Tomato Festival's going to be jumping this year.
This is just a fantastic job by Felipe Franks. Buys times, and here you see the elite arm strength there. And Traylon Burks just
in a game where they dominated time of possession, you could have kept with what you were doing.
I agree. I know. That's why it's puzzling.
Third down 9. Maurer. Incomplete, almost picked.
Give Daniels a try on the field and see what they got, but I got to figure out the quarterback position in Athens.
Franks scrambles, goes straight ahead, and takes it to the logo for a first down for the Razorbacks. And it ball is drilled through the uprights.
Play coverage or bring pressure. Hey, looks like they're coming.
They bring 5. Maurer scrambles, heaves. Nobody there except Arkansas, and it's out of bounds. Arkansas fills the hole, and they do it with Bumper Pool.
Downs on the ground, but you do need to pick up the urgency.
Again to the run. Big stop, Jonathan Marshall. He's running over the top of Eric Gray. Down 2 scores. Bailey to throw, slant, batted in the air. It is intercepted by Arkansas. Turnover on downs. Regardless, it was going to be Arkansas ball, but the Razorbacks have their 11th interception of this season. It belongs to Eric Gregory. It's his first. Let the big guy
to win 2 years without an SEC victory. Things are turning around quick in Fayetteville.
Bailey, end zone, jump ball. It is intercepted again. Razorbacks with another pick to seal it. It's a guy who studies more film than anybody. Jalen Catalon with his 2nd interception of the season.
How about this Sam Pittman Arkansas football team? No one expected them to win more than a couple games coming into the year. They have competed week in and week out. They're proving they're one of the better teams in the SEC West right now.
Is pretty awesome. So yeah, man, that's pretty cool. Love that. Prayers for Coach Pittman. Obviously, test positive for COVID. Hope he comes out of that all good, unscathed. As we know, he's tested. He's asymptomatic, hanging out at home. And I think by protocol, you won't see him back until next Thursday at the earliest. I could be wrong about that. But let's hope, so there's some weird stuff going on in scheduling. You know, obviously we've lost, Mississippi State, Auburn. We've lost Alabama, LSU, and one other game, Tennessee. I probably got games wrong here. I don't have all that in front of me. We've lost some games this week. I'm sure you guys will help me out in the comments with that. And so we're looking ahead, and LSU's already got a game against Florida to make up, and now you got to have a game to make up against Alabama. And I think those are 2 games that the league wants to get done because they're extremely important games. So it'll be interesting to see if Arkansas's got another bye. They're late. We'll see if they try to shift some things around to accommodate what they're going to do. So there you go. Thanks you, Michael, A&M. And so, yeah, A&M and Tennessee. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And so, so we'll see what happens with the schedule and what's going on there going forward. Let me jump back over here. I'm going to get into – I might have to close these comments out for a second. And I'm going to get into this week's game a little bit. I'm not going to get too in-depth. Obviously, I want you guys to join Tyler and I on Friday for the podcast. We'll have our preview pod out. We'll give our official picks. But just looking at some general numbers here. Okay, you guys – jump in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about the Razorbacks, where this team is headed. What you love about what the Hogs are doing. Maybe some complaints, frustrations you may have. I know everybody's happy. We're 4-2. Everybody's ecstatic. So, but yeah, this is a big game this week. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Kyle Trask is special. If if Florida's without Kyle Pitts, it helps Arkansas. That's 414 yards and 8 touchdowns you take off the field. Kyle Trask, 1,800 yards, 22 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and he's on I heard today he's on a pace, the same pace that Tua and Burrow were having in their record years. So, he's on pace to have just an unbelievably incredible year. Florida is averaging 42 points a game, while Arkansas is averaging 24, and Arkansas is giving up 26 a game, but Florida's giving up 29. So Arkansas is going to get their opportunities to score this week. One spot where I think Arkansas might be able to try to get, Florida is through the passing game. Well, I think this is, an opportunity for Franks to go out and really show off and show who he is and what he's capable of against his old team. And he's going to want to. And Pittman hates that he can't be there. But both of these teams defensively are giving up about the same amount of yards. But Arkansas has done better against the run, and they've ran the ball better. Arkansas has averaged 190 yards rushing over their last 3 games. And so, obviously you want to run to set up the pass, but I think this is going to be a game where Arkansas is going to have to throw it and have to throw it a lot. Florida's a 17.5-point favorite. Can't disagree with that, especially now without Pittman for sure. So we'll see what happens. I like how Arkansas is playing right now. I think Arkansas can keep this game close. I don't know that Arkansas can win this game when you look at just the raw numbers. But give me your thoughts, and we'll give you guys an opportunity to drop your score predictions later in the week on Natural State Sports. So just make sure you stick with us on Natural State Sports. All right, let's see. Stanley, let me jump over here to these comments, make sure I'm not missing anything. Stanley Jones says, wish we could go back to Hogs TV because SEC announcers are against us so bad. And to be fair, it's, I think it's going to take some time. So I think it's going to take some time for, and don't get me wrong, announcers should never be biased and they shouldn't dog on teams. And I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just they're finding more superlatives for other teams, and they're hoping to see more, from other teams. And so, I don't know, man. I have a hard time giving announcers too hard of a time anymore now that we've been doing our Natural State Sports Game of the Week each week. And so, yeah. We'll see. We'll see how these announcers do, but it is frustrating sometimes. Michael Stubbs says, after my Florida prediction comes true, I'm guest host next week. Hey, I'm down, man. If Arkansas beats Florida, get in our direct messages and DM us and or send us a message on Messenger, and we will. Here, I'll even put this up here. We will bring you on. So, Chris McCord says our defense will keep us in the game against Florida. So I want to believe that. I really do. And obviously our defense has won us a lot of games this year. So I really hope that that's what happens. But Chris, I'm gonna tell you, man, this Florida offense is pretty stinking dynamic. And I know that Georgia was missing some guys last week because of COVID and injuries and whatnot. But man, that Florida offense just absolutely embarrassed Georgia's defense for a long time in that game. And so, for me, I don't know. I mean, I think the defense will do enough to keep us in the game. I think you're right to the point that this defense isn't going to just get shredded to the point that the offense shouldn't be able to keep up. The question is going to be, does Franks continue to develop? Does he continue to make strides in the right direction? And he doesn't come out against a Florida team that he wants to beat and let these guys knock him down. So I hope that's not what happens. I hope that he doesn't try to do too much. I hope Florida doesn't. I don't think Florida would come out looking for any big hits on him or opportunities to take any aggression out on him. That's not how the situation ended. It's actually really unfortunate, obviously. I think everybody's followed the Franks situation. And so, yeah. Paul Barnett, do you think they should run 22 more than Boyd this week? I do. We talked about that a little while ago. Appreciate you joining us. Yes, 100%. I think that 22 should run and should run a whole lot more this week. 9 carries is not enough. And I said it earlier. I know that they're trying to force things with Rakeem Boyd a little bit right now. But it's obvious that the better running back is 22, and 22 needs more touches. So, I think if you, for a couple of reasons here, Treylon's the better receiving back. And I think you're going to need that this week against this Florida defense. Florida does pretty well against the run. I know they gave up the 75-yard touchdown run to open the game against Georgia last week, but I think from that point they didn't hardly do anything. I mean, it was like, Florida's defense really shut them down in the running game. Now, one point to make about this though. When you look at the Georgia situation, the one place that team is a mess is at quarterback. And so Arkansas brings a better quarterback into this game. And we bring a defense that's playing extremely hard. And so I agree again that our defense is going to be a big piece of it. And it's going to be a huge piece of it. But I think more important is going to be how well the offense can hang. So Chris McCord says turnovers, if our defense wins the turnover battle, we win close. Well, yeah, absolutely. Arkansas has thrived off turnovers this year, and they need them. This is a team, I think, when you go back to last year and you look at some of the things that Chad Morris said after games, it was always, we're this, we're that, we need more talent, we need whatever. But one thing that always stuck out to me was that he always said, and it's true, especially about this Arkansas team, because this Arkansas team isn't crazy ultra talented. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm down on this team. I love this team. This is a team. That's the whole point. Like this, sure, you've got a Treylon Burks, but you don't have a whole bunch of superstar guys. On defense, you got Catalan, you got people know the bumper pool name, and you got Morgan and those guys. But Catalan's probably the most well-known name on that defense. On the offensive side, Treylon Burks is and Franks. You've got some guys, but one of the things that Chad Morris said a lot last year was that Arkansas, we just can't afford to not play well. We can't afford to not coach well. We have to play perfect to have a chance to win. We got to get some lucky breaks. This team is still that way. The difference is they're playing for their coach, and they have a coaching staff that doesn't suck. So you have a coaching staff that's not losing and not failing these guys before the game ever starts. You have a coaching staff putting them in a position to win each week. The team, Coach Pittman, Coach Odom, Coach Browse, and the rest of the staff is getting every ounce of effort out of these players every single week, and you can see that. And so that's the biggest issue, or that's the biggest key. You're right. Turnovers if our defense wins. Arkansas needs those turnovers. They need some luck. Michael Stubbs, where is Trey Knox? We need him down the stretch. Agreed. Nobody knows, man. Dude's missing. He's MIA right now, and let's hope that something happens. Him and Burks hang out. He rubs some good luck off. I don't know. Something, anything, but we need Knox because it's a deadly scenario when you think about the fact that you could put Knox, Warren, Burks, and Woods on the field at the same time. That's scary. That's really scary. If only we could get some offensive line play that would protect Franks long enough. So they're getting better though. The offensive line's getting better. You can see them getting more cohesive and more comfortable. So maybe we'll see that. Paul Barnett, we will need to get a fast start. This slow start with teams like Florida will get us beat. Again, I agree. You got to start this game just like you started the second half of Tennessee, just like you started the first half of A&M. You made big plays. You got to stop. You got a touchdown. Against Tennessee, you got a touchdown. You got to stop. So, yeah, 100%, man. This team needs to come out and they need to take advantage of this porous Florida defense, and you got to get points. AJ Reed, you get inside 40 yards, you got to make it. You can't miss those kicks. Those are going to be big keys to this game. Can Arkansas' secondary stand up against this Kyle Trask-led offense? That's another huge key to this game. I don't know. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of talk about this offense. But Texas A&M seemed to really pick on Hudson Clark, but then Hudson Clark comes back this week and looks really good against Tennessee. The big difference, though, is the athletes for Florida are well superior to what Tennessee puts out there on the field. So it's going to be very interesting to see. My expectations are tempered this week. I want to see Arkansas win. I'm not going to give you an official pick yet. You guys got to join me Friday for the High on the Hogs preview podcast, myself and Tyler Davis. But, yeah, I think that you're right, Paul. Arkansas's got to get off to a fast start. And even if the defense gives up something on that first drive to Florida, your offense has to score. I think the offense has got to put points up. Can't go into halftime of this game in particular with only 7 or 14 points, 7 or 10 points. Can't do it. I think this game is going to take some points to win. Obviously, you saw how many points they were able to put on Georgia last week. Arkansas is going to have to score a bunch of points to hang around in this game. So, anyway, I don't know that I got much else. I've yammered on for about 40 minutes. I appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Appreciate War Machine 13 for bringing us the highlight video this week. You guys make sure you jump over on YouTube and hit subscribe to War Machine 13's page. Really enjoy what he brings to the table each week on these highlights, so you guys don't want to miss those. And man, I don't know. I guess that's about all I got. If you guys ain't got any more engagement and interest with me, then I'm going to jump off here. But you guys, again, head over to our sponsor, Harris-Made on Facebook, Chef Services, Harris Made Chef Services, Chef James Harris. He'll get you taken care of. He's our go-to for any of our catering needs here at Natural State Sports. So give Chef Harris a shout. Head over to his Facebook page, Harris-Made, and let him and find out exactly what he can do for you. He's got his menu. He's got everything posted over there, so you can see what he has. If you just don't want to cook the rest of the week, we'll see. So you don't want to cook the rest of the week, give James a shout. So I'm going to get this one on real quick. Michael, again, appreciate you joining us. Appreciate all the questions and the engagement. And you ask opinions on how we defend Tony. Well, it's going to be, I think, oh man, it's going to be an interesting situation for Arkansas, no matter who they put out there. Hang on, I'm trying to get everything here in front of me. So, we'll see. I mean, Kadarius Toney is extremely dynamic. Obviously, he's their second leading receiver. He's going to move to the front of the line if Pitts is out. I think that helps Arkansas. Arkansas would have to put, and this is assuming Pitts is out. If Pitts is in, then all bets are off. But if Pitts doesn't play in this game, which I've not seen an update yet as to I know he's got to go through protocol and all that good stuff. But I think it helps Arkansas. Obviously, I don't think we know it helps Arkansas with Pitts out. How do you defend Toney? I think you got to bracket him. I mean, Arkansas will probably run a lot of rush 3, drop 8. And so I think you got to disguise some things. You got to use guys, Greg Brooks Jr. is a guy that's going to have to be a big piece, in that nickel zone coverage. Catalon's going to have to put some hits on some guys. But again, this is a Florida offense that's going to get theirs. I think that we could sit here and try to figure out how, and I know Odom is now with double duties this week, playing interim head coach as well as defensive coordinator. He's got his work cut out for him. But, I think that when you look at it, the defense is going to do what the defense is going to do. Arkansas is going to be pretty basic on defense. That's what they've been all year. They'll disguise some things. They'll bring some blitzes here and there. But Arkansas is just not, one, they don't have the depth, and two, they don't have the athletes needed to run the defense I think that Odom really wants to run, that I think we're going to see him really thrive with in the next couple of years. And so, to me, the important piece is the defense, as it was said earlier, keeping them in the game, but the offense has got to show out this week. If the offense doesn't show out this week, Arkansas is likely to get beat by 30. And I hate to say that, but the offense has to show up this week. The defense can only do so much against this Florida offense. This Florida offense has gotten theirs against everybody, and that's not going to change against Arkansas. All right, let me jump back over here, make sure I haven't missed any new comments. And I'll answer this one last. Paul Barnett, why do you think our offense is so inconsistent? One, offensive line. I think that's where you got to start. I think the offensive line has struggled in run blocking, and I think that's been shown by the PFF grades we talked about earlier. I think that's been struggle number one. The offensive line's just got to get stronger. They got to get more cohesive, and they got to be able to push some guys off the line. And so I think that's number one. I think number two is I think you got a guy in Kendall Briles who had a very limited spring, limited fall, limited summer to really implement anything with a bunch of new guys, a graduate transfer quarterback. And so he's trying to learn exactly what his guys can do, what they're comfortable with. And that's why I think you see the weird trick plays from time to time. You see different things like that because I think that Briles is still feeling his way along in not only this team, but the SEC. I mean, this is his first opportunity in the SEC. And, while he was at Florida State before, it's still a big difference coming to the SEC. At Florida State, he played one team every year in Clemson. In the SEC, he plays Texas A&M, Florida, Alabama. So I mean, that, I think that's a big piece of it. And I think that if we're getting frustrated by that right now, I like what Sam Pittman had to say, as far as that Briles is a great offensive coordinator and he wants all these plays to work as well. So, I think the frustration's fair, obviously, because we see the expectations have risen. But I think at the end of the day, I think that's the key has been that Briles is still feeling his way through, and this offensive line has been a big struggle. And I think a big piece of it, Trey Knox not really getting anything done. That's a guy you counted on. So I think those are some big pieces of it. Other than that, man, I think that's about it. I think we've taken up enough time tonight, 45 minutes or so. Michael Stubbs, this is a good show. Bedtime for me. Get to bed, man. Get rested up. Big day tomorrow. You guys stay safe. Avoid the coronavirus. And get your flu shots, all that good stuff, whatever you do. And drive safe. Listen to the High on the Hogs, HAWGS podcast, wherever you get podcasts. And until next week, Woo Pig.